We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
It is I, Dark Helmet, the Transformer and Sci-Fi Pig, here with another War for Cybertron Kingdom figure, this time with pipes. Another one that's been sitting in the back for a while. Time to get it out and take a look at this guy.
What does he mean, Pipes?
Beats me. Nuts and bolts, I understand.
Here we go with Pipes in a bit of a stationary pose. I will say that some of the color is a little bit blah. There should have been some extra coloring somewhere in the chest or something. He looks a little bit too plain, but overall, he does look very similar to the original G1 Pipes. And here we go with that G1 Pipes. You can see that they changed the color of the back of the cab piece that sits behind his head. But otherwise, most of the other colors look pretty good on this one. The arms obviously are different because they're not the exhaust pipes, and they're just arms now like they were in the cartoon.
I've got his transmission.
Here we go with Pipes in a bit of a pose, showing off all the movement in the arms and the knees, down the legs, and in the rockers, the waist, and the head as well. Another pose right here with him getting down to a full kneeling position. Looking pretty good in that pose. Here goes one with Pipes running, and he's got his two exhaust guns. Pipes on his side, but he fell. So unlike Huffer, Pipes unfortunately could not hold his balance the same way, and that would be where it's a little bit weaker down in the rocks of this one. Not quite as strong as Huffer, but you can still get him in some good poses. Here's another pose using those exhaust pipes as guns like we've seen in the cartoon. Overall, pretty good.
As Optimus Prime used to say, transform and roll out.
And here we go finally with Pipes in his Ottawa cab form. Another one that was supposed to be somewhat of a yard jockey truck and not a full-size diesel truck. And this one has vibes to the original one, but it seems like it's missing something a little bit in the way of translation. Just a bit. So let's bring out that G1 version of them. And you can see while they captured some things, they definitely missed out on a few other ones. Without having those big, giant, chromed out exhaust ports and having this big white flatbed end in the back, it looks off.
I'm doing everything I can to bring him around.
So if you put his guns on there, you can kind of get it, but it looks a little bit odd sticking so far out. Now, if they would have moved the hands further, you could have got him on the inside. And here we go, putting him on the back of the flat end of his truck. You can also port them along the back end. There's quite a few different ports on here where you could port these guns in. None of them look great. And you could also port one up on the front end and one on the top. Once again, it just looks off. Now, if the pegs in the rear were a little bit smaller, you could have plugged them in there, but they just don't fit and they slop out.
Autobots, we've got to hold that thing up.
And here we go with our final pose and our overall thoughts and rundown on this Pipes from the War for Cybertron Kingdom. Overall, this one does have all the aesthetics almost nailed. There was a few things in minor detailing, maybe adding a few more colors in the chest, maybe brightening the eye color a little bit to make it stand out more. I think could have did this thing wonders. And the feet. There was something off about the reuse of the mold that they had for Huffer on these feet where they got a little bit sloppy and he could not hold his balance quite as well as Huffer did. The accessories that are on him are pretty cool. I just wish they would have did a better job of putting ports in there so you could make it look like the G1. The best that we can give this one is a 7.5 out of 10.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.